So let's hear it and put your hands together for Jamie, Andrew, and Alex.
Everyone. So we're joined by Jamie and Andrew, as you heard today, and they're going to share their blueprint for customer centricity. And as we were preparing for this conversation, and really as an extension of Vivek's presentation as well, we were really thinking about what you as marketing leaders and maybe even change agents in the room might get from this conversation. And what we hope that you'll get is really thinking about not just the what that's shaping marketing today, but the how. So thinking about how to engage your customers and your teams as well, and also why you should do that with a global mindset. So welcome to you both. I think as a starting point, it would be helpful to define what you mean by customer centricity at Amex.
Cool. Well, thank you, Alex. Great to be here. Such a great event, great start to the event. Delighted to be joined by Jamie up on stage. And I thought what I would do is start way back, start with the fact. Not many people, I'm sure, in the room will know that next year, actually, American Express will celebrate its 175th anniversary. It is one of the oldest publicly listed companies in the US, started as a freight forwarding company, as you can see in these images, where our first customers trusted us to take their belongings from one part of the US by horse and carriage, or I'm not sure what the dog's there for, but horse and carriage or train or wagon across to the other end of the United States. And the reason why I'm starting with the history of the company is because the values that were sort of embedded in those early years of the company are still the values that American Express has today. So in 1850, it was all about trust, it was all about security, it was all about integrity. And today, those values endure. They're in our mission statement, enshrined in our company values. And from the CEO of the company down, doing what is right for the customer remains core to the company's culture and mission. And then if you flow that down into what we're trying to do as marketers, being customer-centric today, for us means we're always looking to find the best solutions that address our customer needs. In 1850, those needs were, as I said, around shipping a product from one side of the country to the other. Today, our customers trust us with their data. And we heard from Vivek earlier about this notion of trust. And it's up to us as marketers to take that data and to transform it into world-class solutions, products, services that can enrich and help our customers' lives. So I will share three principles, three examples of how we think about a good customer-centric experience today. The first is show me that you know me. As I said, our customers share data with us all the time. It's up to us as marketers to pay attention to that data, listen to what those signals are telling us, and then to respond in the right way. So things like personalization. I'm sure every marketer in the room thinks about personalization. Recognition of good signals that we pick up from our customer is fundamental. The second principle is to make it easy for them, save them time. We're all bombarded, I'm sure, in our personal lives as well with just noise. And we can't have our customers, our card members, trawl through pages of information, multiple clicks. We've got to take that friction out and serve up content when they need it and let them engage with it in a simple way. And I'll give you an example to bring this to life. A few years ago, I was on our membership rewards team, our loyalty program team in the US. And we have a number of fantastic partners where card members can take their membership rewards points and then transfer them to airline or hotel partners. And in some cases, that took over a week. And it took about 12 or 13 steps, and that is not the customer experience that we want to deliver to our customers. They don't have the time or the patience or the tolerance for those types of experience. So we have to take the friction away, simplify it. Now it's real time. And the third is to make it valuable for the card member. And this is critical to understand because we think about it in two levels, and I think Jamie will talk a bit about that later. The first level is what we call our published promise. This is the core value proposition. So if you decide to become an American Express card member, let's say you take the Platinum card, it will come with a series of benefits that you'll probably look at when you're considering buying the card, getting the card. And then it's up to us as marketers to talk to you about how you are using those benefits that come with your core value proposition in the right way. So that's one sort of level of value. And then the second level of value sort of goes beyond that. And this is what we call the membership layer. And so I'll take an example as well. So if you're a gold card member, a gold card will typically come with, say, hotel benefits, membership award points. And we know from our data that you're traveling, let's say you're flying to New York. We can then pull, as marketers, content, experiences, offers. It could be borrowing facilities. It could be access to events that don't really sit with your gold card, but they're part of American Express membership. And so for us as marketers, we're always trying to find that link. Right? How can we talk to you about your core? And then how do we expand that to additional products and services that American Express offers? And that really is customer centricity for us today. It's a little bit different from 1850, but a lot of it is fundamental.
Yeah, well, the fundamental principle is the same, right? So there's the published promise that really centers around the customer. And I'm wondering, there's lots of communications experts in this room, lots of marketing leaders. I'm wondering if, Jamie, you can bring that to life a little bit more. Andrew started to share around the gold journey, and I know as we were preparing for this, it felt like a good example to share some of the communications around that principle.
Sure. So as Andrew talked about, there's really three things that we look at, right? The first is showing a customer that we know them. The second is making it easy for them. And the third is how do we elevate value in a truly differentiated way. And what makes it incredibly fun and challenging at the same time is that we do this across the customer lifecycle, but we are also dialed in, tapped into moments and micro moments where we can serve up and bundle all of that value at different touch points. So for example, as a new customer coming in, as Andrew talked about, onboarding and engagement is an incredibly critical moment in card membership where we are welcoming you in. We are creating an incredible experience from day one with your welcome kit, with all of your emails that you receive from us and your digital touch points. It is truly cross-channel. The job there to be done is very much about delivering on that published promise, making sure that the card that you just recently acquired and have in your hands, that you know how to get set up, that you know how to digitally engage with us, that if you have signals around travel or dining or a borrowing need, that we are surfacing up that content to you in relevant channels and moments in time. The second piece of that is how do we actually unlock what we call the membership effect. And this is really job number 2 in our strategy, is to move beyond that published promise and make sure that we are connecting the dots for you and surfacing up the total enterprise value that we can offer you as a customer. And this is where we really see incredible engagement from our customers, because we're breaking down all of those benefits personalized to you in bite-sized and consumable ways. So I'll get into what some of that looks like as we go through the next couple of pieces. Let me anchor you to some of the things that you're seeing on the slide, and this is largely email that you'll see today, but we do this across channel. Web and app are incredibly important roles for us, as are our servicing teams who help us if you call in and have a question about your benefits and your services. But the examples that you see on this slide we're incredibly proud of. And we send this out with the support of Movable Inc. We've been partners for over a decade with the organization. And what I'll anchor you to in the center here is what we call our Membership Essential e-newsletter. It is a carrier of information, for lack of a better word. It is something that you as a customer receive. We have it across 22 card products. The content within it is modularized using Movable Inc.'s Studio. It's our flagship e-newsletter at the end of the day, and we leverage data and insights to be able to personalize the content within it. It's mailed on a monthly basis. It is the thing that is, I call it our magazine to membership at the end of the day. But there's other jobs to be done, and so what you see to the left and to the right of this slide, and I'll cover what they are, is a travel digest that was built out of the need post-COVID to elevate our travel benefits in a complete way to our customers. So we knew if you were spending on your card or booking airline and travel value that we wanted to surface both the rational value that you were getting on your card, plus aspirational value in terms of, and editorial in terms of where customers were traveling to get them to explore the world. And so this showcases all of what Amex has to offer on both sides of the house. This communication leans more heavily toward editorial. It starts with that and then comes in and bundles some of the value that you're receiving as a customer. And then all the way on the other side of the house is a super personalized trigger, and we use triggers across all of our verticals: dining, travel, entertainment. And this is leveraged what we call on journey. So when you book an airline ticket, flying across the world, we are then talking to you about the value that you get on your Platinum card, but we're also educating you on when you go to the airport where the lounge is. We're bringing in Amex offers for relevant offers for the area that you're traveling into. And so for us, it's not one set of communications, it's the multiplier effect of leveraging a broad scale yet hyper-personalized communication plus targeted comms on the left and the right that help buoy and create an ultimate engagement model.
Yeah. And we've spoken a bit about the published promise, thinking about that kind of elevated journey. And Andrew shared at the beginning around, this is no longer moving goods around the world as it was nearly 175 years ago. This is now really ensuring that card members trust you with their data. And I'm wondering if in the next couple of examples you can share more around how you're honoring that trust from your card members in your comms.
Sure. So you've heard me use the term published promise. We use it a lot when we're talking as a team, but at its core, it's making sure that customers coming in, they obviously have certain expectations in terms of what you get with the card and that we're elevating that. The second piece is making sure that, that foundation is set. And what you see here on this page is a version of our Member Essentials e-newsletter. We are personalizing Welcome to Gold card membership with the name. That's fairly basic today, right? But it's incredibly important. We're providing you a simple progress tracker, which you see across the top. We use this in a lot of our communications. It's important that we lead the customer through what they've already done, recognizing their accomplishments, but then also taking them into the next step. It shows that you know me. It shows how to keep them going in terms of deeper engagement. And then in this communication, we're leveraging polling technology, which has been incredibly beneficial for us because on each of these card products, there are hundreds of benefits, and on average, a customer maybe remembers 3 of them. And so we need to start to tap into what is most important for you, so that polling technology, in this case you see here, is asking you, are you interested in dining or travel? And in this case, the customer is clicking dining, and so what we're surfacing to them is a day in the life of all the dining benefits that exist on their card. And again, making sure that we're connecting the dots in a really simplistic and customer-centric way.
Yeah, and I think that invitation at the beginning of a relationship in particular, as you mentioned in the welcome journey, is really important. And I know that another example we're going to share is around further along that life cycle, really reinforcing that rational value.
That's right. So I'm highlighting for you here another addition to our comms strategy, which we call our value summary. It is important for us to make sure that in addition to educating you on the published promise, making sure that we're bringing in that aspirational content, that we're actually surfacing up all the rational value that you do receive on the card and the opportunity that exists for you to earn more. And so in this case, we're making sure that at the top, right, we're bringing in the card art. We're celebrating all that you've earned. You see that you've earned 20,000 points. And then we're also showing you how you did it, right? We're looking at a categoric level in terms of where customers are spending. We're recognizing their top earning category. In this example, we have an avid diner. But on the flip side, this customer has an opportunity to earn incremental points on the everyday spend category. And so again, we're bringing the information that we have forward in a really bite-sized, consumable way to make sure that it's creating a lasting impact, and then a customer knows what to do next. What you don't see at the bottom is we then use other information to actually publish what might be relevant to them next in terms of other card benefits that they may or may not be using.
Yeah. So We started by talking about the blueprint for customer centricity, and we've deep dived a little into kind of what that means from a life cycle perspective. But of course, the global blueprint is at a huge scale. So we know that Amex has over 140 million cards in circulation globally, 75,000 employees. So how do you deliver on that published promise at scale? Andrew, maybe I'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's complex, but I'll break it down, I think, in 3 steps, 3 stages. I think when I started at the beginning of the presentation about the values of the company, the brand values and mission, I think that is the same globally, no matter where you are around the world in American Express. And then I think the strategy that sits underneath that, which is, and I'll probably say this in non-brand compliant ways, but to create world-class products that have compelling benefits and offers, that I think is consistent as well across markets around the world. But where it becomes complex and where there's nuance is in the actual delivery, the actual customer experience on the ground in the markets themselves. And the reality is that there's just a ton of complexity for us to manage through, right? I mean, we are a bank, we're a bank holding company, and every market around the world has different regulatory frameworks, standards, of course, we have to adhere to. That impacts marketing and things like opt-in rates. In some markets, you're defaulted opted out, and we have to try and get you to opt in, and that's a challenge. In other markets, that's not an issue. The competitive dynamics, excuse me, are obviously a little bit different across markets, and whether we're competing against debit cards, cash, or other credit card providers, that can vary across markets. The customer needs are different. A good example of that we're debating right now, discussing right now, is our app experience, which is built and deployed globally. And generally speaking, works in most markets with 1 or 2 exceptions, right? We're talking a lot with our Japan team today about how the app, the way it looks, is not designed with the Japanese customer front and center, right? They're just different colors, different icons. So we're thinking about how do we reskin the front of the app to make it more compelling for the local Japanese card member. And then even things like how we pay for stuff, how customers pay for stuff. In some markets, it's QR codes, scanning. In other markets, it's tap and go with wallets. And so we're constantly, as marketers, having to adjust to those nuances. And the way that we do this, primarily, is to let the markets drive these interactions. So it's very much a hub and spoke, but each of the spoke teams, the marketing teams in the markets around the world, are closest to the customer and those dynamics. And so they compete for investments, they drive the marketing execution. And then we have a central layer in which I sit that helps to enable the markets to work faster through addressing common pain points with capabilities or customer experience uplifts that can be deployed globally. And then lastly, we let the information just flow around the world. We test something in one market, bring the learnings as much as we can to another market, and use international as a bit of an innovation hub. And a good example of that is our member get member channel, which is an acquisition channel where we ask our card members to invite friends and family, and they can earn points for doing it. And it is one of our highest performing acquisition channels we have now at American Express. And it started out in France about 25 years ago. It still lives on today in many markets, including the US, as an acquisition channel. And this is an example of how we bring it to life. The Mexican team actually brought this to life in Mexico. It's a member get member campaign. It has design features that work in the market, like there's a scratch-off experience within the email that adds the sort of gamification element and anticipation, excitement element that really worked for Mexican card members. And it leverages WhatsApp as well, which is an important channel in the region. So you can take the code, share it in WhatsApp, and link to your friends and families that way. So it's just an example of customization that happens at the local level, leveraging the Movable ink tools that we use.
Yeah, so we've covered a lot in the last 20 minutes. I'm going to close this out here by just inviting you to share, as you think about that almost 175-year history, the changes being made along the way, and the leaders and change agents kind of in this room who might be in a different space with their organizations. What's the one thing that each of you might want to leave with them as an invitation for the rest of today and going back to their desks tomorrow?
Sure. So I would ask for a raise of hands how many of you as marketers start with solutions or tactics in your everyday? Probably most of us, right? As humans, we're wired to solve problems. But one of the foundational changes that we've had on our team is to start asking ourselves, what is the problem that we are trying to solve in our customers' words? And in many cases, when we start with the tactic, we actually ask the team to shift their mindset in the room to identifying that problem statement. It's only really by flipping that script can we make sure that we are customer-centric and we're solving for the right thing. The second piece that has been a foundational change for us is to make sure that we're pushing our teams to think end-to-end. Why? Because most of us as marketers are owning a channel or a communication, and we need to know where our customers are coming from and where they're going and understand what that end-to-end experience looks like. Push out friction as much as we can, because even though we may not own many parts or bits of the journey, we can help influence it and elevate those customer needs.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, well, just to build on that, I totally agree. I mean, I think I would summarize it as at the beginning of a challenge, if you're not asking yourself, what is the customer job to be done, you're not asking the right question.
Fantastic.
So, and if you're not getting that from your leader, ask them. Okay. And ask your leader to ask.
You're all empowered. Ask your leaders this stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, both. I know you're sticking around for most of the day, so come and say hello if you've got some questions. I'm sure you're happy to answer some more. But for now, thank you, Jamie and Andrew.